Hello, welcome to Scrap Time, episode 1045. My name is Christine, and on today's episode, I am showing you the Imagine Crafts Staz-On Glaze. Today, I am showing you the Staz-On Studio Glaze from Imagine Crafts, and this glaze comes in all the colors that Staz-On comes in, but I have these colors here today that I am working with. Now, you can use the glazes in your art journals, and so on this page here, I used it for my layer triangles, the word happy, and then my dots on the bottom there. I layered yellow and orange, I think, or orange and red, sorry, together. So you can use them in your art journals. However, because it is Staz-On, you can also use them on glass and porous or non-porous materials. So I'm going to show you how to make this little vase. So I have a jar that I am going to use, a little canning jar. And I'm going to start with silver on my base. And so I'm going to squeeze out quite a bit of the Staz-On Glaze. Just get this little piece of fur off there. And all you do is you take a sponge and you dab it right onto the glass. And we will be layering this up. So I'm just putting my first layer on, and I'm going to need more. I find when you use a sponge, at first it pulls up a lot of the ink into the sponge, so you need excess. And this glaze, because we're putting such a thin layer on, dries fairly quickly. Just put it upright while I dab some more on. And then over, the sponge gets in all the crevices over the raised area of the jar. So I have gone all the way around once, and now I'm just going to heat it a bit to make sure it's dry. So on the vase I made before, I did a second layer of the silver. But this time, I think I'm going to go in with some orange. Why not? Orange is a fun, festive color. And I'm just going right over top, adding a second coat. Now, of course, you can add as many layers as you want, depending if you want to be able to see through the jar at all or want it totally opaque. I like to have the metallic on the bottom. I think it has a nice base to it. And as you start adding your extra layers, it goes a little quicker because you may not be putting the layer over the entire thing. For the orange, I wanted to coat the entire thing in orange. And then I'll quickly just give that a dry. So now I'm going to add a bit of this claret, sort of burgundy color, but I'm not going to add it over all of it. I'm going to also put on some ganache. Start with those two colors for now. But now I'm just going to randomly blend in some color. So I'm overlapping the color a little. And just randomly putting it around the jar. Now I think where it wasn't quite dry, it picked up some of the color, so I'm going to try and dry this a little better. So you can see how nice it's coming along. I think I'm going to add a little bit of purple. This is Gothic purple. And maybe a little bit of Saint Valentine. And I keep using the same sponge for all the colors. And again, I'm just randomly putting those colors around. So I think that's fairly good. I'm just going to dry it one more time. Okay, and now I'm just going to finish it off by adding a bit of stamping. So I am using StazOn ink and a stamp. This is from Wendy Vecchi. Now when I did this vase here, I rolled my vase in the stamp, but I don't want that much stamping on this one. So I am going to put some ink on my stamp, and because this is a rubber stamp, I can just roll on some texture randomly onto my vase. So there, I just added a little bit of stamping texture around my vase. I'm going to close that up. And then if you wanted to, you could go back in with a bit more color just to over some of that stamping if you wanted to blend it a bit. I could go back in just over the stamping. Like that. And then I'll just dry it. I've finished, and you can just see the difference. You can get in the colors, whereas this one I had 2 layers of silver, and I probably used more purples and blues than reds, and then this one by using the orange. You can get different looks depending on which StazOn Studio Glaze you use. So check out the StazOn Studio Glaze to make some really cool projects. Well, that's it for today's episode. Be sure to check out our website at www.scraptime.ca. And on our next episode, I'm showing you Dina Wakely's new book, Art Journal Courage. So please join us. Thanks for watching Scrap Time.